Right now, there's a seemingly harmless habit that millions of older adults are doing every night, believing they're nourishing their eyes. But in reality, they're slowly destroying the most delicate epithelial layer on the human body. That is dropping 100% pure castor oil directly into their eyeballs. You might be thinking, but castor oil is natural. It's been used since ancient Egypt. How can it be dangerous? This is exactly the deadly illusion that the beauty industry has planted in your mind. The medical truth is, pure castor oil has cytotoxic properties. When you drop it into your eyes, the heavy oil molecules stick to the corneal surface, creating a dense film that blocks oxygen dissolved in tears from reaching the epithelial cells. Your cornea has no blood vessels. It lives on oxygen from the air and tears. Thinking about using castor oil for your eye health? You might want to think twice. When you suffocate this oxygen source with a layer of oil, the cells begin to die gradually. You won't feel pain immediately. This process is silent, accumulating over many weeks, until one day you wake up with severely red eyes, stabbing pain, and irreversible vision loss. But that's not even the worst part. There's a type of castor oil being heavily advertised on natural health forums called Jamaican black castor oil. It has a deep dark brown color claimed to be stronger and more pure. But the life and death truth is, this oil is produced by roasting castor beans at high temperatures, creating carbon ash, and pushing the pH up to an extremely alkaline level of 9.0. Distilled water is a 7, hand soap is a 9. Protect your sight. Your eyes are irreplaceable. When you apply a substance with a pH of 9.0 to the delicate skin around your eyes, or drop it into your eyes, you're causing a chemical burn. Alkaline breaks down cell membranes, dissolves proteins, leaving deep ulcers on the cornea. And once the cornea is damaged, it will leave permanent scars, causing irreversibly blurred vision. I'm Julian Porter, a senior health research specialist. In the next 19 minutes, I won't tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what you need to know to protect your only pair of eyes. I'll go through 3 brutal truths. First, why castor oil can actually help reduce dry eyes through the mechanism of supplementing the lipid layer, but only when you use it correctly, not by dropping it in. But before we dive in, I need you to do something right now. If you have a bottle of castor oil at home, get it out and check the label. Does it say Jamaican black? Does it say hexane-free? Is it in a plastic bottle or an amber glass bottle? Comment below what type of oil you're using and how you're using it. I'll tell you if you're putting yourself in danger. Now let's dive deep into the science. Point number 1. Why the rumor that castor oil can cure cataracts or floaters is a dangerous scam based on a lack of understanding of pharmacokinetics. Point number 2. Let's review the protocol. The exact step-by-step protocol for you to use castor oil safely, including which types of oil to avoid like the plague, which to buy, where to apply it, and how much is enough. Be safe with your health. The truth about dry eyes and the crime of dropping oil directly into the eyeball. At age 60 and above, up to 61% of us suffer from dry eye disease. This isn't just a simple discomfort. Dry eyes cause temporary vision blur, and clinical studies have proven it doubles the risk of falls in older adults. An accident that can lead to hip fractures and life-threatening complications. So what exactly is dry eye and why is castor oil rumored to help? Let's understand this mechanism. Your tears aren't just salt water. They have 3 layers stacked on top of each other like a perfect sandwich. The innermost layer is mucus that sticks to the eyeball surface. The middle layer is water, making up 90% of the volume, providing moisture and oxygen. The outermost layer, thin but vital, is a thin oil film called the lipid layer. This layer is secreted from the meibomian glands, tiny sebaceous glands located along the edge of your eyelids. What's the job of this lipid layer? It acts like an invisible lid, preventing the water layer underneath from evaporating into the air. Imagine your eyes are 2 bowls of hot soup placed on the table. If you leave them as is, with wind from the ceiling fan blowing over, the soup water will dry up very quickly in just a few hours, right? But if there's an ultra-thin layer of fat floating on the surface, it forms a perfect shield, locking the water vapor inside. That's exactly how the lipid layer works on the surface of your eyeball. But as you age, the meibomian glands begin to atrophy and become blocked. They stop producing enough oil. The lipid layer becomes thinner, even disappearing completely in some areas. The result is that the water layer underneath evaporates at an alarming rate, leaving your eye surface dry, irritated, and burning. This is when castor oil enters the story. Pure castor oil contains 91% of an extremely special compound called ricinoleic acid. This is an amphiphilic molecule, meaning one end of it loves water and the other loves oil. When you apply a very small amount of castor oil to the eyelid margin, the warmth from your skin and the blinking motion of your eyes will slowly release these ricinoleic acid molecules. They migrate to the tear surface and integrate directly into the weakening lipid layer, creating a new protective coating that helps lock in moisture. Clinical studies have tested artificial tear formulas containing 2% castor oil and recorded significant improvement in moisture retention time on the corneal surface. So scientifically, this mechanism is real. Here's the critical point they don't tell you. Those studies used castor oil diluted to just 2%, sterile packaged in a special emulsion, and tested for pH safety to ensure absolute safety for the eye surface. They never used 100% pure castor oil directly in the eye. Never. Why? Because pure crude oil is cytotoxic. It's toxic to your conjunctival epithelial cells. That's the membrane that covers your eyeball. 100% oil is destructive to this delicate tissue. When you drop thick oil in, it creates dense mucus strands that stick to the cornea, blurring your vision. Even worse, this oil layer prevents oxygen in your tears from reaching the corneal surface. Your cornea has no blood vessels. It actually breathes through oxygen dissolved in your tears. By cutting off that oxygen, you're starving your eyes. Don't risk your sight with undiluted oil. Consult a professional before putting anything in your eyes. Protect your vision. When you cover it with a thick layer of oil, you're suffocating the corneal cells, causing chronic oxygen deprivation, leading to corneal edema and accumulating microscopic scratches. To illustrate this more clearly, let me tell you about Martha Clarkson, 72 years old, living in Arizona. Martha suffered from severe dry eyes after cataract surgery. She read an article on Facebook advising that dropping 3 drops of castor oil into each eye every morning would help lubricate and reduce grittiness. Within 3 days, Martha's eyes became severely red. She felt like a large foreign body was stuck inside. When she visited her ophthalmologist through the slit lamp microscope, the doctor discovered dozens of tiny scratches across the entire surface of her cornea, along with a thick, gritty oil film creating a mechanical barrier preventing the natural healing process. Her tear analysis showed tear breakup time decreased to just 2 seconds, while the normal level is 10 seconds. She had to completely stop dropping oil, use preservative-free artificial tears once every hour, and it took 6 full weeks for her eye surface to fully recover. That's a true story, not an empty warning. So what's the right way? You don't drop oil in. Instead, you only apply an extremely small amount to the skin at the outer eyelid margin, where the eyelashes grow. I'll guide you in detail on how to do this in point 3. But first, I need to shatter the most dangerous lie spreading across the internet. Point number 2, the brutal truth. Castor oil cannot cure cataracts or eliminate floaters. This is a critical distinction for your eye health. Do not believe everything you see on social media regarding alternative cures. There are millions of views for videos claiming that if you drop or apply castor oil around the eyes long enough, it will dissolve cataracts or make those annoying floaters in your vision disappear. This is a dangerous lie because it causes people to delay seeing an ophthalmologist at the right time, leading to irreversible vision loss. Let me explain with science why this is completely impossible. What is a cataract? The lens is a transparent lens located right behind your pupil. It's made of special proteins called crystallins arranged in a perfect order to allow light to pass through without scattering. As you age, these proteins begin to denature. They become oxidized, glycated, and undergo cross-linking, causing them to clump together into opaque structures like egg whites when you boil them. When it comes to your sight, trust science over social media. Consult an eye specialist today. Many wonder if castor oil can treat cataracts, but let's look at the science of eye anatomy and its barriers. This process occurs deep within the physical structure of the lens, at a position several millimeters from the outer surface of your eye. Now, castor oil is a fat with a large molecular weight. To reach the lens, it must first penetrate the corneal epithelial layer. It must pass through the anterior chamber filled with aqueous humor, cross the iris, and permeate into the interior of the lens, encased by a thick elastic capsule. But here's the problem. The cornea has an extremely tight biological barrier designed to block all foreign substances. Pharmacokinetic studies prove that even specially designed eye drops with ultra-small size only have a penetration rate of 1 to 5%. Castor oil, with its bulky triglyceride structure, simply has no chance of getting through these defenses. Imagine a simple analogy. You have a hard-boiled egg. Understanding these biological barriers is key to eye health. Always consult your ophthalmologist for medical advice. The yolk inside has solidified, dark yellow in color. Now you want to turn that yolk back into liquid form, like when it was raw. Do you think if you spread butter on the outside of the eggshell, leave it overnight, the yolk inside will soften again? Of course not. The eggshell is a physical barrier. Butter can't penetrate it. And even if some miracle allowed the butter to seep in, butter doesn't have the ability to reverse the protein coagulation that has occurred. That's exactly what you're doing when you try to use castor oil applied outside the eye to cure cataracts inside. It's a biologically illogical action. But what about the common issue of eye floaters? Floaters are black spots, thread-like strands, or small cloudy streaks floating in your vision. Remember to consult an eye care professional for any vision concerns. Prioritize your eye health today. They're created by protein collagen fibers clumping together in the vitreous humor, a transparent gel mass occupying 80% of the volume inside the eyeball, located behind the lens. For castor oil to affect floaters, it must penetrate the cornea, anterior chamber, lens, and go deep into the vitreous humor. This distance is even longer than the journey to the lens. Pharmacokinetically, this is impossible. I need to be clear. Currently, there is not a single clinical study published in any reputable medical journal in the world proving that castor oil can reduce or reverse cataracts or floaters in humans. None. I've searched PubMed, Cochrane Library, Google Scholar. The number is 0. What you see on social media are anecdotal stories without evidence, or worse, advertising gimmicks to sell products. So if you have cataracts, the only real solution currently is surgery. It's an extremely safe surgical procedure, taking about 15 minutes, performed millions of times each year worldwide, with a success rate over 98%. Don't let false advertising make you miss the opportunity to regain your sight. And if you have too many floaters or suddenly see a shower of floaters accompanied by flashes of light, you need to get examined immediately to rule out the risk of retinal detachment, a true ophthalmic emergency. But if you simply suffer from dry eyes, blepharitis, or want to support the health of your natural lipid layer, castor oil can be a useful tool as long as you use it correctly. And that's point 3, the most important part that 90% of people are getting completely wrong. Point number 3, the survival protocol. Choose the right oil, apply in the right place, and avoid disaster. Let's talk about which type of castor oil is safe and which will destroy your eyes. This is life and death information that not a single video I've ever watched has said straight out. The absolutely forbidden type is Jamaican black castor oil. You'll recognize it by its dark brown, almost black color and distinctive burnt smell. This oil is produced by roasting castor beans at high temperatures before pressing. The roasting process creates carbon ash and causes the oil's pH to spike from 8.0 to 9.0, while regular castor oil has a pH from 5.5 to 6.5. What does a pH of 9.0 mean? That's an extremely strong alkaline level, nearly equivalent to household cleaning solutions. When you apply a substance with high alkalinity to the delicate skin around the eyes, or worse, drop it into the eyes, you're causing an alkaline chemical burn. Alkaline breaks down cell membranes, dissolves proteins, and causes deep tissue damage. On the corneal surface, just a few drops are enough to scrape off the entire epithelial layer, leaving painful ulcers that take weeks to heal. Many people in the comments have asked me, but my cousin used Jamaican black oil on her eyelashes and they grew thicker? Yes, maybe, but in return, they're accepting the risk of accumulated alkaline damage. And more importantly, the skin on the eyelid is different from the eyeball surface. If the oil runs into the eyes, the consequences will be many times more serious. So which type of oil is safe? You must look for bottles with all three of the following criteria. 1. Labeled organic, meaning organic, ensuring no pesticide residue. 2. Labeled cold-pressed, ensuring fatty acids aren't destroyed by heat. 3. And this is most important, must be labeled hexane-free, meaning no hexane solvent used for extraction. Hexane is a toxic industrial chemical that can cause nerve damage and severe mucous membrane irritation. Some cheap manufacturers use hexane to increase oil extraction efficiency from seeds, but leave residues in the final product. Additionally, the container must be made of amber glass. Castor oil is very sensitive to light. Ultraviolet rays from the sun or fluorescent lights can break down the fatty acid structure, creating oxidative free radicals that make the oil rancid and lose effectiveness. Clear plastic bottles or uncolored glass bottles don't protect against this. If you see an oil bottle sitting on a supermarket shelf under bright lights for months, don't buy it. Now, suppose you have a bottle of standard-grade castor oil in hand. How do you use it correctly? Here's the step-by-step guide. Step 1. Wash your face and hands thoroughly with soap. Dry completely. Any bacteria on your hands can be transferred directly to your eyes and cause infection. Step 2. Drop 1 drop of castor oil on the tip of a clean index finger. Rub the 2 index fingers together gently to warm the oil. This helps thin the oil and makes it easier to apply. Step 3. Close your eyes. This is the critical point. You never apply oil inside the eyelid or drop it into the eyeball. You only apply an extremely small amount, equivalent to half a grain of rice, along the outer eyelid margin, precisely the line where the eyelashes grow. That's where the meibomian gland openings are located. The science of nighttime eye care starts with a precise application. Use your finger to gently swipe from the inner corner to the outer corner of the eye. Just a thin layer like dew. Step 4. Open your eyes and blink several times. This motion helps the warmth from the eyelid skin and friction from blinking will gradually melt the oil, releasing ricinoleic acid and allowing it to migrate to the tear film. Step 5. Wipe off any excess oil on the skin with a soft tissue. If you leave thick oil on the skin overnight, you'll clog your pores. Only do this once a day, best at night before bed, because while you sleep, your eyes are closed, creating an ideal moist environment for the oil to work without evaporating. If you apply in the morning, oil can run into your eyes when you sweat or wash your face, causing blurred vision. Remember these safety steps for your routine. Here is the final warning. If you apply too much oil or apply too close to the inner eyelid, the oil will seep in while you sleep and block the sebaceous glands. This blockage prevents dead cells on the skin surface from shedding according to the natural cycle. They accumulate under the thin skin layer, forming small white hard keratin cysts like pebbles called milia. Milia aren't acne, you can't squeeze them out. They lie deep under the skin and need to be punctured and removed by a dermatologist using a sterile needle. Additionally, if oil blocks the meibomian glands, normal skin bacteria can invade, causing gland inflammation, creating a red swollen painful lump called a stye. A stye can grow as large as a pea, cause severe pain, and take 1 to 2 weeks to resolve on its own. One person wrote, "I got Milia from castor oil." Exactly. They used too much or used it incorrectly. If you're using prescription eye drops for glaucoma like latanoprost or bimatoprost, ask your ophthalmologist before applying castor oil. These medications often contain the preservative benzalkonium chloride, which can interact with oil to create precipitates or reduce medication effectiveness. Let me tell you about a real success story. Eleanor Thompson, 70 years old, from Oregon, shared her experience with us. She suffered from chronic blepharitis and severe dry eyes after many years of using antihistamines for allergies. Her doctor tried many types of artificial tears, even prescribed Restasis, but the effect wasn't significant. She felt gritty all day, and waking up in the morning was the worst time. Eyes stuck together due to lack of oil. But through the right application of castor oil, she found the relief she had been searching for years. After proper consultation, she began applying a very small amount of organic, cold-pressed, hexane-free castor oil to the eyelid margin every night, just an amount equal to half a grain of rice for both eyes. In the first week, she didn't feel a noticeable difference, but by week 3, she noticed that when waking up in the morning, her eyes were no longer sticky and the gritty feeling decreased significantly. She continued this habit for 3 months. When she returned to see her ophthalmologist, the doctor examined and noted that her meibomian gland openings were less blocked, and the quality of secreted oil had improved. Importantly, she didn't stop using artificial tears, but only used castor oil as a complementary therapy. This is the correct approach. A synergistic point I want to emphasize. If you combine applying castor oil with warm compress therapy, the effect will multiply. Every night before applying oil, soak a clean towel in warm water about 45 degrees Celsius. Wring gently, fold, and place over closed eyelids for 5 minutes. The warm temperature will melt solidified oil clumps in the meibomian glands, helping them secrete more easily. Then, gently massage along the eyelid margin with clean fingertips, in a motion from bottom to top for the lower lid and top to bottom for the upper lid, helping push out residual oil. Finally, apply castor oil as I instructed. This 3-step therapy, called warm compress, massage, lipid supplementation, is the gold standard in treating meibomian gland dysfunction recommended by ophthalmologists. Before I conclude, I need to be clear about this. All the medical studies I've cited in today's video have full links in the description below. I encourage you to take time to read them, and more importantly, bring this information to discuss with your ophthalmologist. They understand your specific eye condition much better than I do. I also need to emphasize once more, if you're using any prescription medications, especially blood thinners, blood pressure medications, or eye drops for glaucoma, don't arbitrarily change or stop your medications. That's an extremely dangerous action. All treatment protocol adjustments must be supervised by your doctor. Science has no age limit. The human body, even at 70, 80 years old, still has amazing self-healing and regenerative capacity if you provide the right materials and conditions. Your corneal epithelial cells completely renew every 7 to 10 days. Meibomian glands can be unblocked and reactivated through heat therapy and lipid supplementation. You're not stuck with permanent dry eyes, but you must do it correctly. Let me quickly summarize the 3 main points we just went through. Point 1. Castor oil can help improve dry eyes by supplementing the lipid layer, but absolutely must not be dropped directly into the eyeball because it causes cytotoxicity. Point 2. Castor oil cannot cure cataracts or eliminate floaters because it cannot penetrate the cornea to reach deep internal eye structures. Point 3. Only use organic, cold-pressed, hexane-free oil in amber glass bottles, and only apply a super small amount to the outer eyelid margin each night. If this video has helped you avoid a serious mistake or given you a clear direction, Please share it with your loved ones. Many older adults are harming themselves because of false information. You could be the one to save their vision. Struggling with gritty, tired eyes? You might have dry eye syndrome. First, use the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds and blink. Second, use warm compresses and gentle lid scrubs daily to keep your oil glands clear. Third, support your eyes with omega-3s and stay hydrated for better tear quality. Question 1. Of the 3 points I just shared, which will you start practicing first? What's the biggest barrier currently preventing you from improving your dry eye condition? Is it cost, or not knowing where to buy oil, or fear of trying something new? Comment below. I read every comment and will directly answer your questions. Thank you for spending time here with me. See you in the next video.